Hello everyone and welcome. My name is Robin Armbrecht at Really Robin Stamps and you are joining me for Papercrafting Playdate. Today is April 8th, 2022 and this is episode 54 and I'm so glad that you're here. Thank you so much for joining me. We are going to work on Gatefold cards today, but we're going to do them a little bit differently. We're going to give them some closure, right? So I hope you're excited to learn something new, and let's get right to the table. Happy Friday, if it is Friday in your world. All right, I think we're going to be okay there. Let me adjust my place here. Okay. All right, how is everybody doing today? Leave me a comment. Let me know what's going on with you today in your world. I would love to know. Hi, Nydia. Hi, Laura. How is everybody? Let me share this video and pull up your comments, and then I'll be all done with that. Okay, did it. All right. Hello, Mary. Welcome. Let me zoom in. I see I need to zoom in a little bit. There we go. All right, I have a couple happy mails to show you. This is from a new friend, Jean. Or Jeannie, I don't know, you correct me please so I get your name right. She used the awesome angles fold and she sent me a thank you note because she's been making cards like crazy and using some of those templates. So I appreciate that. Hi Jonna, hi Faye, hi Wendy. How exciting, the gang's all here. Welcome friends. So not only did she make this card to send me, but she also sent me a picture of one of the accordion tent fold cards that she made with that gorgeous strawberry paper that was from Celebration a while ago. Isn't that beautiful? Nice work. Thank you so much. And then this card's from a demonstrator friend, Arland. And she says she made it at one of the classes that we had a long time ago. Perhaps. I don't remember Arland. I do remember these butterflies and this butterfly punch though. Isn't that cute? It's a great little layout. And this gorgeous Easter card is from my friend Jill. And I love how this is put together. I love the basket, the little basket embossing folder. Oh my goodness, so cute. Thank you very much for that happy mail. Let me make sure I can see the comments. There we go. Hi, Judy. Hi, Lynn. Boy, everybody's here. I'm so excited. All right, I was hoping you would indulge me just for a few minutes today. This week has been nuts, crazy nuts. And when I started to get ready for this video, I was like hyperventilating this morning. It's crazy. Hi, Deb. Anyway, I thought, you know what? I'm just going to do a little stamping therapy. I'm going to practice what I preach, right? And I thought if you would indulge me in this, we'll just put together a little background and make some, I'm going to make some stuff with it, all right? All right, so I'm going to use this stamp set called Flowing Flowers. This is in the January to June mini catalog. And not only is it gorgeous, but it has more greetings than stamped images, which is super fun. Hi, Kay. Hi, Sonal. Hello, hello. But one of the things that's really cool is that it's not a bundle. It doesn't come with dies or a punch or anything. So it's literally just a stamp set. And so like, in a lot of ways that takes the pressure off because, you know, you can use dies with it obviously, but since there aren't dies that match the stamped images, you just have to stamp with it. It's perfect for creating your own you know, background paper or just doing some simple stamping. So this morning when I was hyperventilating, I'm like, I just need to do some therapy. So I'm going to show you what I did. So I'm just taking this flower and I am creating a background. And so I'm spacing this by looking at triangles. So when I see two together and then there's the hole, that's where I put the next one. There's two, there's the hole, that's where the next one goes. All right, so you just kind of get that spacing first. And whenever you're gonna make a background, we've talked about this before, but it's just something good to keep in mind. You want to work from the largest image to the smallest image if you're going to kind of just create like a collaged background. So this was Blushing Bride. And next I'm gonna take this medium image and I'm gonna use Mary Merlot. And I'm going to stamp that in those holes, and I'm just turning my stamp each time so I get those images going in different directions. And let's do one more right here. Okay, so now we'll work to the smallest image here. Yeah, Nydia, that's a really good point. Hold on. I always lose the comments. You feel that about some stamps and you feel guilty. Yeah, no, I really, yes, I feel the exact same way. Hey, Carol. Hi, Cindy. All right, so then with your smallest image, I'm going to use Crumb Cake. And now I can just fill in. All right, and with the ink that's left over on my stamp, I'm just gonna stamp it off until you can't see it anymore, right? Just to kind of fill up those white spaces, okay? Like that. You see how that's filling up? And because this is, you know, a kind of a medium to light color, you still don't lose any of the... All right, where do we need any more? I think that looks pretty good. So now I've just got this background and it's pretty therapeutic, right? Does anybody use the Calm app, C-A-L-M, Calm? Leave me a comment if you've heard of or used that app. I treated myself to like a yearly subscription a couple of years ago and I absolutely love it because you can put on music, there are sleep stories, it's amazing. So literally I put on some focus calm music, I got out these colors and I just made this little background this morning and life was better. I guess it calmed me down at least, right? So now I'm just taking this little greeting and I'm using just a slightly darker brown, the soft suede color, and I'm just stamping it in the same direction, right? You've seen me do this before. It's not rocket science, but it's really a nice way to just create some background paper that you can use any way you want to. All right, so thank you. Now we have had some therapy and I'm going to show you how I've used this on the Gatefold cards because that is our focus today, our Gatefold cards with a little bit of a twist. So let me take that away and I will bring out my paper. Yeah, Nydia, just try it. If you have any anxiety at all or you have trouble falling asleep, it's pretty amazing. You can get the free version and it has some stuff on there so you can just try the Calm app. But then, of course, if you get the subscription, then you get all kinds of different things. But I use the sleep stories almost every night. They put me right to sleep. I use the calming music. I use like the focus music. It's pretty cool. All right, here's what we are making. we are making gatefold cards. Now remember, a gatefold is just a fold where the card opens from the middle like a gate, okay? We're gonna make it a little bit different today by making our gatefold offset, okay? And I'll show you what I mean by that. So this particular pattern uses half a sheet of cardstock cut the long way at 4 1/4 by 11. And when you score it at 1 7/8 and 7 3/8. I realize those are eighths measurements and they're not very fun to use, but there it is. That's what it takes. So when you put this together, I'm just going to make sure these are lined up. Your gatefold opening is going to not be in the middle. It's going to be offset from the middle. That's why it's called an offset gatefold. Okay, so whenever you've got something that moves like that, you want to make sure you kind of score it and crease it in both directions just to really break the fibers in that cardstock so you can get an easy bend that's going to do what you want it to do. Okay, let me just straighten that up and we'll give it one more. Okay, so here is our offset gatefold. And what's really cool is you can use 3 pieces of pattern paper that measure 4 inches by 1 5/8, and they fit across the front perfectly. So it's kind of like a really neat little template, plus it's a fun fold all in one. So I am going to glue those down. This paper is from the Heart and Home suite. It's in the January to June catalog, so it's still available. This is fresh freesia cardstock. I think I'm going to turn that around. It looks like that's going up. There we go. And then we'll put this one that kind of ties those other 2 pieces together because it has multiple colors. We're going to put that right in the middle, like that. So everything's nice and evenly spaced. All right, so this is like an offset gatefold, okay? So we're going to take this design of an offset gatefold using these little strips, and we're going to add, I'm just going to show you 3 ways to close this gatefold. All right, so the first way is going to be to create a latch. So let me show you. I am using this stamp set, Blessings of Home. I'm going to use this flower right here. This is one of those fun bundles that has, you know, 2 stamp sets, 2 die sets, but they all coordinate together. So if you like this design, you get a ton of things to use together. So I'm going to take some more fresh freesia. So instead of stamping this on white cardstock, I decided I wanted to make it just a little bit more subtle. And so I'm stamping it with basic gray on the fresh freesia, and then I'm going to color it. So, in case you haven't tried that before, this is another way that you can use your Stampin' Blends. Now, usually you use the Memento ink pad when you use the Stampin' Blends because this doesn't smear when you're using alcohol markers. However, if you're pretty careful, you can color with regular ink, which is what this basic gray is, and it works. So I've already cut this out using the die that coordinates with this, and so I'm going to take some colors to color this in. So I'm going to use the fresh freesia, so I'm going to color kind of tone on tone, and I'm going to color the large flower. in the light fresh freesia. That. And then I'm going to take the darker fresh freesia and I'm going to color the smaller flowers. Flower. So I'm not really concerned about doing a whole lot of blending here. I'm just going to basically color it in. And then I'm going to take pale papaya and I'm going to color these little flowers. Oh, this is pretty therapeutic too. Okay, and then this will also be the center of my flower. So I'm just pulling in the colors that are in this designer series paper from the blends. And then I'm going to take mint macaron because I want it to be really light, and we'll just color the leaves. So you can kind of see when you color this on a colored cardstock instead of white, how it just looks even, the colors look a little bit muted. Very pretty though. You can see how this is drying already and how it's turning lighter. Okay, so I'm going to take the darker fresh freesia and I'll just do the opposite on these flowers and give them a little purple center. And so there we've got our flower. Okay, so I told you we're going to make a latch fold. There's two elements you need to make a latch, not fold, a latch closure on the offset gatefold. You need something that's going to be the latch and then something for the latch to hook into. So usually if you want to use like a die cut and then some kind of embellishment. Okay, so I'm using this stitched die here, which I've already cut out of white. And let's put our greeting on there. I want the happy hello. Also in basic gray. And I'm going to attach this on our door, but I'm only going to attach it on this side. Okay, so figure out where you want it and then flip it over. Okay, so this die is just going to be attached to this side. And then because I want it to latch, I have to have something over here popped up that's going to stick under. Okay, so that's what this is for. So you want to place this such that this will have some room for that to, you know, stick under. And it's kind of nice because whatever you put over here kind of bridges the gap between these two papers too. So it's kind of dual purposed. So you're going to add dimensionals to this, and you just want to not put anything right where you're going to need space for that to latch. So we'll stay away from that side, and we'll put a bunch of dimensionals over here to make it sturdy. Whoops, I did the wrong side. Move it over. There we go. Okay, so we'll put this right there. So now that will stick under there to open, and it'll just be a sweet little latch. So let's finish this card all the way, and we'll put an insert. And because this paper is so awesome, every backside of all these designs have great little subtle wood grains of all different kinds. They're so pretty. So it's really great because you can still, you know, stamp on that. You can, you know, still put some images on there. You can color it in. I'm just going to put the little bee up there. And we'll put some little flowers over here because that's where the bee's headed. I should have stamped this before. We'll just put that right there. And then you can still write with, you know, and stamp with black ink on there. Okay, what do you think about that with a latch fold? Let's finish this off with some embellishments. These are the classic matte dots. They also are designed to go with this suite of products. And so we'll use the gray, since we kind of stamped in gray. Put a couple little dots over there. Hello, Sue. Hello, Carol. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. All right, so this is our latch fold. Now let's just go crazy for a little bit here and check out some other designs. Not designs, but different ways. Again, this is a fun fold. Thank you. It's a fun fold, but it's also a great little template to use with your designer series paper. In fact, I made one. If you don't, let's see, what did I do with it? Here it is. Let's just say you don't want to do the gatefold. You can still use these measurements on the designer series paper and just make a regular card, right? It still works. If you don't feel like taking the extra step to make a fun fold, right? All right, so here is our little ladybug. That's the little latch, and I just used the tags, the tailored tags dies. So much fun. Here is one with hand penned, and I just flipped it. You know, the offset short side of the gate doesn't have to go on the right. You can put it on the left. This is one of the scalloped dies from the Color and Contour. And this one fell in my ink pad again. I need to stop carrying my cards around. This is with the Delightful Dahlias stamp set, and that came with this little tag die, so I used that as the latch. You can come up with all kinds of ideas. All right, so here I cut up our paper, our therapy paper. I put it through an embossing folder and made one with that paper. So you don't have to have designer series paper. Literally, you can have stamps, paper, ink. That's it. That's all you need to do stamping, right? I love how that turned out. And then, of course, you can turn it this way too. It doesn't have to be a horizontal card. You can make it vertical. So you've got tons of options with Gatefold cards. This one needs some. I made this one last night before bed, and I need to put a couple little embellishments on there, I think. All right, so that is our offset gatefold with the latch closure. So I promised you 3 ways to close it. So this is just the first way. Here's one more. I made this one because I wanted you to see that you could also do this pattern with designer series paper as the base instead of cardstock if you wanted to do that. You just cut it the same way. Thank you, Nydia. That's high praise. That's high praise. Okay. So now we're going to shift gears. We'll bring these guys back later, and we're going to make another offset gatefold card, but this time we're going to make the closure a slide in lock. I have a video about that. I think it was one of the early paper crafting playdates. So if you want to know all about slide and lock cards, you can go back and watch that video. I'm going to use the On the Horizon stamp set along with the Horizons paper because it's so beautiful. This stamp set isn't transitioning to the new catalog. It'll still be available through June, but it isn't one that made it. So I'm using it. Okay. So to do a slide and lock card, you only have to do one thing slightly differently to your card base. It's still 4 1/4 by 11 inches, and you still want to score it at 1 7/8. But if you don't score at the other measurement at 7 3/8, it gives you the opportunity to fold this on your own so that you can create a gap. So when you do a slide and lock card, you need to just have a tiny bit of space in between the two gates because you've got to have a little bit of room for the sliding mechanism. So it really works out best if you go ahead and fold this one and then you just put this together manually and leave about a 1/16, not quite an 1/8 inch. You want to just leave a little gap and then fold it yourself. This is Evening Evergreen. Do you see the gap there? You want to just leave a little gap. Normally you don't want the gap, right? So I took one of the pieces of the beautiful scenery Horizons paper. Let's make sure I have this in the same order, which I don't. Let's see, does it go this way? There we go. So we're just going to put this across like a little scene. And remember, these are 1 5/8 by 4. Now, before I put that one on, I'm just going to take this little tree stamp here, and we'll just add a little stamping to our paper because it's fun. Jonna. I'm trying to read what you say. I don't know why it's so, maybe it's the light I have on here, but I'm having a hard time reading. Ah, good, Jonna. I'm glad you got some inspiration for a project. Okay, so we'll put this one here. This one here. So we've got a little scene going on. Have you guys tried a slide and lock card before? If this is brand new to you, I'm going to walk you through it step by step, but I do have a whole nother video on it so you can watch that too. So to make the little, what it is, it's just like a focal point that slides in this gap. So you need actually 4 pieces of the same size depending on, okay, brand new. Okay, so I won't go too fast. Let me, well, I think it'll, never mind. Don't get ahead of yourself. Okay, you need 4 pieces that are exactly the same size. So I'm using basic white, and I just made little squares, and I just kind of decided, you know, how big did I want the focal point to be, okay? And it's going to slide on along this groove. So one of these is going to be the front. One of these is going to be in the back, and then 2 of them get folded in half, and they create like the little hinges that do the slide and lock, okay? So I just scored these in half, and now I'm folding them in half. So this is the back. These are going to get glued on this. I know this seems crazy, right? But you'll see how it works in a second. So because they're all the same size, when you fold it in half, you've got exactly half. So the fold goes in the middle of that back square, and then this one bumps up right next to it like that. So I'm just gonna press those together, and then let's just fold that down for a minute. So this one's going to be on top, so let's go ahead and decorate this. I cut a piece of the extra designer series paper that kind of matches the sky. And I'm going to build a little scene on here. I made it just slightly smaller so I would still see that white edge. And what I did, hopefully I didn't lose my pieces. There we go. I went ahead and took the dies because they've got all these great scenery dies, and I cut the fence, and I cut the little row of houses, and I did this piece to do some land, and I just wanted to build kind of like a little scene on this focal point like that. So this, I thought this would be grass, so I actually should have put that on first, but let me just cut a little piece of this and we'll tuck it underneath. I probably should have just not glued that on the white yet, but that's okay. We'll make it work. So this is going to be kind of like dimensional grass. And then we'll put these little houses on top. Oops. There we go. And then I'll just trim the sides. Okay, so this is glued. So remember, these were the hinges. And now we're going to glue this right on top. Are you wondering how is this working? I'm about to show you. So let's let that sit for a minute, nice and dry before I use it. And then in the meantime, I'm going to just put some of this fence kind of behind here. So it'll kind of be sticking out. This is the first time I've cut this fence so far. Like, what am I doing with my time that I have not cut this yet? My goodness. Okay, so here's how this works. That's cute. All right, we need a greeting on here though. We're just going to put this little breathe on here. That right there. Okay, so you've got your 4 pieces, and those 2 hinges are sandwiched in between the front and the back. And what that does is this allows these two to slide in between the cards, or between the gates, the little doors. So you just put that right into the gap like that, and then it slides down like that. And now you've got this little scene. They do look like grain bins. See? Yep, you can use that any way you want to. To me, they look like those little cabanas that are on a beach, right? All right, so when the person gets this, they just slide it up and put it on and off. Obviously, you might need to guide, your recipient, or send it to a fellow stamper, and we'll stamp something on the inside a little bit later. So that is the mechanism to close your offset gatefold. That is called a slide and lock. So here is another one with this paper. I just used a different scene. Thank you, Kay. And this one is a circle. So you can make this shape pretty much anything that you can, die cut. You just still make 4 of them. I actually made 5 because I added this little scallop in there. And the 2 center ones get folded in half and glued to the front and the back. This is a great bundle, really is. I love this bundle. I wish it was going into the new book. Speaking of the new book, are you guys getting pumped up about the new catalog? So exciting. All right, and here is one that I made with my therapy paper. And I used a rectangle for the hinge. I'd used 1 piece of that, and then I added in some of the Designer Series paper that coordinates with those colors, just to do something different. I forgot to embellish this one too. My goodness, let's add a couple here while we got it out. I love these polished dots. There we go. All right, so this slides up or down the same way to make that little card like that. This is fun. It's just kind of a, I think somebody who, you send this to somebody who's a stamper. It's a real wow kind of closure for your card. Okay. So that is an offset gatefold with a slide and lock closure. Put those to the side for a minute. All right, I have one more to show you. I have to bring the catalog in one more time. I was very excited. I had a moment last night to, whoops, I can't open it online. I labeled my sections last night, and then I did some highlighting, and you guys are all excited about my pens. But these are just from Bic, and they're just called Bright Liners, but they're pastel colors. So I like them because they're not so harsh of a highlighter. And look how that coordinates with that pretty book. Love it. So this month in April, I have a registration for my new catalog kickoff event and the party packet, which includes a catalog that I will priority ship to you during April. So if you want to be a part of that event, you can use the link. I'll add the link or it'll be in the description box if you're watching on YouTube. And inside, not only will you get the new catalog, but you'll get some fun things and a couple projects, and then we're gonna have a little kickoff party together virtually. So that is how you can get your catalog this month. Otherwise, I'll just be mailing them out regular mail in May if you want to wait for that. Using my hostess code this month, if you place an order this month using my hostess code, I'm going to send you something. It's a surprise. But if you want to spend $100, you can get your catalog party packet for free. It's $10. But you can get it for free if you want to place a $100 order this month. Does that make sense? If not, just leave me a comment. And then I'm actually offering to spiral bound your catalog for you, to make it spiral bound, for an extra $5. So if you would like that little perk, not have to do it yourself, you can register for that too. All right, so the last kind of closure that we're going to make is called a buckle. I guess it's just called a buckle. And I thought it would be really fun to use this paper. This is also from the January to June mini catalog. And I have been just so anxious to play with this, and I just have not had a lot of time for some reason, but this is Abstract Beauty. And these are very different because for the first time they are cut 4 by 6. So think of all the things and patterns and things we've talked about where you start with a 4 by 6 piece of paper. This is already cut in that dimension, so that's going to be really, really cool. So here, this is page 49. This is the whole suite. This is the paper that I just showed you. And then there's a bundle of dies and stamp set and envelopes and ephemera and these gorgeous little hexagon embellishments. So I wanted to use this to make our next card with the buckle fold. And I picked this piece of paper. I actually need to make a anniversary card for my mom and dad. So I thought this looked very, I don't know, something about it just screamed anniversary to me. So it's already 4 by 6, so I just have to cut my 1 5/8 inch strips. And I need 3 of them. I have this little bit left over. So this is a smoky slate card. I scored it the exact same way. I scored it at 1 7/8 and 7 3/8. So that I would get that offset gatefold. And now we'll attach this paper. Thank you. How's that? Is that any better? Okay, so I just kept the pattern, I just, they're just separated, but you can still see the full pattern there, which is kind of cool. So to make a buckle, you need to have nesting dies, and this die set is just full of them. It's really fun. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4 hexagon nesting dies, and then you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 nesting circles, and this biggest circle is really fun because it also embosses. So we're going to use this these first 2 here. and we're going to make our buckle. So what you need any kind of shape that will nest like this so that you can get a frame. Okay, and you can make this frame wider or narrower depending on what size this circle. So I could put this smaller circle in there instead, and then I get a much wider frame. But I'm going to use this. And we'll bring in Mrs. Cutball. She hasn't been on camera for a while. Now I'm going to cut 2 at the same time. Usually you don't cut 2 at the same time because the bottom one doesn't, it wouldn't get the right, it would be kind of smushed looking. It wouldn't be very, what am I trying to say? If you cut 2 pieces of cardstock at the same time, it'll have too much pressure on it, so it would kind of not be how you wanted it to be. However, we're going to glue these 2 together so the bottom one can be smushed, basically. So I'm going to cut 2 at a time. Like that. Look how cool this is. So the center you don't need. So this not only cuts out, but it embosses this cute little ring around there. And so I've got 2. Do you see how this one is not as defined and kind of smushed? I mean, that's what happens when you do 2 at one time. So you need that nesting set to make the frame, but then you would use this smaller one, and you want to cut out 2 more of whatever you want the middle to be. So I've already cut out this petal pink, and I cut out 2 of them. And then we glue them together. And the reason you want to double up is because this closure will get used a lot, and one single piece of cardstock probably won't be strong enough. So let's just make sure those are lined up. So there's my frame. This is going to be the inside of the buckle. Like that. Okay, so here's how this goes together. This is very fun. So it's going to sit about right here, and we're going to attach the frame to this side, and we're going to attach the center to this side, and then they'll come together like that. So let's do the frame first. So I'm going to just kind of put it where I want it, and then do half of the glue. Flip that around. Like that. We'll let that sit. And before I insert that, I'm going to stamp on it. So I'm going to use this. This calls for a celebration since it's an anniversary card. And then you've got all these fun little art marks here. This is a super great stamp set. I wish that I would have had time before now to really unearth this thing, because it's absolutely gorgeous. These dies are going to be carried over. They're going to be in the new annual catalog. And I think there's another stamp set that's going to coordinate with some of them. But this stamp set is not. So if this interests you at all, think about grabbing that one. So I'm going to take this little smudge mark because it looks like the background here. And then we'll take the petal pink, so we'll just do some tone on tone. And we'll just make a couple little background marks, because that's the beauty of this set. You can just kind of collage any way you want. Well, let's pick something that we can stamp in gray. I like this one. Look how fun that is. Love it. I could stamp that stamp set all day long. All right, so now we're going to attach that, but again, we're only going to attach it on this side. So while the frame is closed, I'm going to go ahead and add the glue on the inside here. And then make sure that is right in the center and straight. And then we can separate them to make sure I don't have my glue in the wrong place. See how that works? And we'll just let that dry for a minute, and we'll finish up this card. I thought it would be fun to add a little extra gold element, and so I brought in some gold foil paper, and I'm going to I'm going to punch these leaves. And just add a little bit of extra leaf over here. And I actually meant to put that under the frame. So we'll just cut this off, and then we'll kind of just glue that right on the edge of the frame. Like that. All right, you guys with me? What do you think? What do you think about this one? It's different, right? So now when you want to open and close this, it just fits right in together and then creates that little buckle. Let's use some of our little hexagons to finish. Oh, look at that tiny one. That is so cute. Hey, Georgie. Thank you. The buckle is fun. And I hope you can see this, how this die embosses. It's really cool. Really cool. All right, here's another one I made with that same set of paper, but instead I used the hexagon dies that I showed you. So you've got that kind of little buckle. And then of course, you know, I had to try this card as a vertical card, and the measurements don't work out quite as perfectly, but I did a tone on tone. So I made my strips out of the same color as the cardstock and embossed them. And I did a little buckle fold here with the stitched rectangles. So that works too. So I'll have these different measurements if you want to try one this way. But that is the buckle fold closure. Pretty cool, I think. Pretty cool. I'm excited about those. Okay, my friends, let's review. We did offset gatefold cards today with a buckle fold. we did a slide and lock closure. Let's put this one back on. So we've got a little movement there. These are very nice and interactive. And then we have our basic latch closure, which is super fun, just as lovely in every way, don't you think? Thank you so much for playing along with me. Thank you for indulging me in some background stamping therapy. I hope that next time you're feeling a little angsty, you will just get out some basic stamps and make a background and then use it however you want, right? That's why we have all these products, to use them, to help them to fill our crafty need, right? Thank you so much for watching, everyone, and I will see you next time. Bye.